Very good morning, dear students. So in today's class, we are going to discuss about the different levels of destination planning, in which levels at local level, national, international, we are going to see. We are also going to understand that what is the role of destination planning, why it is required. And moving further, we will see that how we can have an assessment for tourism potential, because whenever we are looking for a destination or selecting a place to develop as a tourism destination, we need to first decide whether the place is having truly a potential for developing as a tourism destination or not. Then what will be the carrying capacity of the destination, that also we have to decide. That in a particular day, how many people may be allowed. We will come to know the different forms of carrying capacity in the future forthcoming classes. Here in this class, we are going to have a brief idea about the carrying capacity. So let us move to the next topic. First of all, we will understand about tourism destination planning. What is exactly the tourism destination planning? What is the meaning? What we can learn from tourism destination planning. As we know that any work we decide, we need to have a proper plan. Even if we decide an entrepreneurship activity, we need to have a plan, like selecting any business idea, then finding about the products, looking for the market, deciding the raw materials for the product, and then how we are going to prepare the product, how we are going to deliver it to the market, who will be our customers. So in the similar way, for tourism destination planning also, we need to have a proper plan. We need to check for the local site and local area. We need to check for the tourist. We need to check for the convenience of the tourist, whether they can reach to the destination or not. So at each and every level, there are different segments for which we need to have a proper planning. And it is very much essential for achieving successful tourism development and management. The experience of many tourism areas in the world has demonstrated that on a long-term basis, the planned approach to developing tourism can bring benefits without significant problems. It means that if we have developed a good planning, depending upon the different area planning in the sense of marketing, maybe the financing planning, maybe the operational planning, how we are going to operate a destination, maybe the planning for the all stakeholders who will be present at a destination. Once we have planned these things, there will be minimal problems which we will face during the business. Now, places that have allowed tourism to develop without the benefit of planning are often suffering from environmental and social problems. So there is always a threat from environmental side and threat on social problems. There may be threat on cultural problems and cultural setting of the local community also, if we don't have the good planning, or in the very beginning of tourism destination development, we haven't done a good plan, we haven't prepared a good plan. As in the last class, we have discussed that there may be different aspects of destination or sustainable destination. There were three main important pillars, such as environmental, social, and economical. So if we are not having a good plan to develop the tourism destination, we may have setbacks or roadblocks on these three pillars or on these three segments, that is economic, environmental, and social problems. So in this, we see that even if we are facing economic problem, that can be resolved in shorter or longer duration of time. But if we have got a problem related to environmental or social or cultural aspects, it will be very hard to overcome these problems, and it will take longer duration of time. So the planning is concerned, and now we are coming to know that what actually planning we will do, or what are the aspects on which we have to look. So it is concerned with anticipating and regulating change in a system to promote orderly development so as to increase the social, economic, environmental benefits of the development process. So basically, we need to stick with the three pillars of the sustainability, which is social, economic, and environmental. And we need to check each and every step. We need to check our suppliers. We need to check with the stakeholders. We need to check with the operations. We need to check with the marketing activity or the services which we are going to provide at tourism destination. And we need to see whether there is any harm related to social, economic, and environmental aspects based upon those parameters. If there is any harm related to marketing activity, we shall avoid it. If there is any harm related to finance, such as if we have pumped more money or if we have taken loan for starting the business from different various sources, but there is no much selling or there is more much earning at a tourism destination, then it won't be good from economic point of view. And suppose if we need to cut down the trees to develop the destination, then it will be problem from the environmental aspects. So those things we have to avoid. We have to go for the minimal damage to the environment, which can be sustained later on with our processes. Further, the tourism planning is primarily economic development planning that is directed towards tourism related objectives, which differ between the public sector and private sector. So here comes the big factor, since we have already come to know in the earlier classes that during the investment in tourism destination areas, sites, there are usually three parties will be there. Public sector or private companies may be there. The the government may be there, like destination marketing organizations or state tourism departments. Second, private sector may be there, private companies who take part in tourism destination development. Third sector may come in form of self-help group or the communities, local communities may be there. So basically tourism planning has to be done to develop an economic integration between all these parties, because there are very few tourism destination areas which is being operated by only state tourism departments or government. Mostly government will join hands with the public sector also to get more human resources or to get more money as investment. So there should be a balance. There should be a profit sharing promise or documentation between these parties also. Then only a true destination planning can be done. Now we are going to learn what is the importance of planning, why we are talking much about planning and integration of economic benefits, environmental and social factors. So we see that there are since different parties involved, public sector, government is involved, private sector, private companies are involved. So they all, when they are coming to a tourism destination, they are putting up their investment, they all are looking for their own benefits. We cannot deny that basic purpose of these parties is earning some kind of benefit from the tourism destination. So we have to have a check upon their interest, that it should not be very much biased, such as in public sector tourism planning, it will include consideration of economic, social factors, land use policies, that how government is going to use the land, what kind of prices they are going to pay to the farmers or to the agricultural people or to the local community when they acquire the land, how they are going to make a control for the different zones, environmental concerns, infrastructure development, what kind of buildings they are going to put up, how many employment generation they are doing, and the provision of public services, what kind of public amenities they are going to provide. So here we can see that when we talk about public sector, that means the government organization, they have more duties or more responsibilities, not only the investment, but they need to look upon environmental concerns, employment generation and provision of public services and social factors. So these things comes automatically when a government organization is involved. And when we talk about the private sector organization, they don't have that much responsibilities when they are going to invest or develop a tourism destination. So usually the private sector tourism planning, they will see the investment objectives involving various aspects of product development, building design, financial feasibility, marketing, management, and operations. So very clearly we can see that the public sector is having more responsibility related to society, environment, and local community, where private sector doesn't have these obligations as strict as it is with the public sector. Now we are coming to have a look on different levels of tourism destination planning, that how many levels of tourism destination plannings are there. So as we know that all the tourism destination can be called as a different level. So first we have an international level of tourism destination planning in which it will involve more than one country and includes areas such as international transportation services, joint tourism marketing, regional tourism policies and standards. It means when we are going to develop the entire country as a tourism destination, when we are going to market the entire country as a tourism destination, it will be called as international level of planning. So for example, when Ministry of Tourism, Government of India is planning that how entire India can be marketed at international level or global level. So in this perspective, they are into international level of tourism destination planning. When likewise, when the entire Asian region is in talk that how they can develop their tourism destination, it may be called as international level of tourism destination planning, because they are looking the entire globe as a marketplace for marketing the Indian tourism destinations. In the similar fashion, coming down, when Ministry of Tourism, Government of India is planning to market the different tourism destination in the Indian geographical boundary itself, that means different types of advertisements, videos or hoardings are being put up inside the different states by Ministry of Tourism. It is called as national level of planning, that how they are targeting the inbound tourist or their own, how they are going to market, how they are going to develop the tourism destination inside the Indian geographical boundaries itself, how they are going to frame the tourism policy, what kind of infrastructure they are going to put, what kind of public amenities they are going to provide, on maybe what is the number of employment generation through that initiatives. For example, the Incredible India campaign, which was there for international level tourism planning and national level planning as well. So these two are the international level planning and national level planning. Coming down, when there is a severe tourism destination planning or stringent, we can come down to regional level as well. So for regional level, we can take example of the different states of India. So as we know that different states are having state tourism departments. So when these state tourism departments are taking initiative of marketing, financing, investing in different tourism destinations, and they are creating a plan to follow, then we can call it as a regional level tourism destination planning, because it is done for a small region, maybe by a state. So if we take example of Karnataka state, they are having tourism destination planning for their own tourism destination based in Karnataka only, not for other states. So other states will have their own responsibility to market or to plan for tourism destination. That is the reason the states can also be called as regional tourism offices, RTOs they are being called, because they are planning for their own region. Next, we have local or community level destination planning also. We are coming down and we are digging deep into the tourism destination planning. Here, planning will be done at a local level, which involves sub-regions, cities, towns, villages, resort, rural areas, and some particular tourist attraction. So here we can see even a particular district of a state may have the responsibility to market or develop a particular tourism plan, or at least following the tourism plan which has been developed for the entire state. For example, in Kerala, we have regional tourism organizations we have district promotion councils are there, district tourism councils, DTCs are there in Kerala, which take responsibility of marketing and investment or development of tourism destinations in a particular district. So we can say that slowly we are coming down from international level to national level to regional level to local or community level. Then the last we have site planning level. When we are looking at a particular site, at a particular tourism destination, we are not looking at the entire village or city. Here we are taking care of one particular site, because each site or each destination may have different particular type of features. There we may need a different type of planning. So for each site also we can develop a different types of plan. We can look at what kind of infrastructure, buildings, public amenities are allowed, should be allowed, and what is the particular carrying capacity of a particular site. There might be sites where we can allow 1,000 tourists each day. There are different tourism sites where we cannot allow more than 100 tourists in a day. So that is the reason we have to plan for the buildings, structures, landscaping, engineering designs, depending upon the particular site's capacity. So here we have learned that there are 4 types of level of tourism destination planning. Now we will know what is the benefits of tourism planning. We have talked till now that what are the types of tourism planning, what is the meaning of tourism planning, what do we understand with the different levels of tourism planning. Now, in the name of benefits, we can easily understand that when we are doing a planning, tourism destination planning, we are looking for 3 factors mainly: economic, social, and environmental. So we can easily say that benefits should come from these perspective, or benefits will be there in sense of social benefits. We may look for social benefits, we may look for environmental benefits, we may look for economic benefits when we have good tourism destination planning. So we can be able to establish the overall tourism development objectives and policies, that what are the objectives of a particular tourism destination, what and how long time we are going to give to achieve these objectives, how it can be achieved, what are the stakeholders to work together while achieving these objectives. Then we can develop tourism so that its natural cultural resources are indefinitely maintained and conserved for future. So we can adopt sustainable practices, and we may be able to conserve it for longer duration of time if we have good tourism destination planning. We can also optimize and balance the economic, environmental, and social benefits of tourism. On these 3 pillars, or on these 3 areas, we can be able to maximize the benefit, and we can establish the guidelines and standards with help of tourism planning. So when we have prior planning, we can be able to develop a guideline which will be followed by each and every stakeholder at a particular destination, and we can go for standardization of services as well. Now we can understand that once we have done a planning, once we have to do a tourism destination planning, at the same time, we need to look for the tourism destination that although we are doing this much planning, what is the potential of the tourism destination? Even if we are going with the planning, and if a destination doesn't have a good potential for attracting the tourist, the entire process will go in vain. So how we are going to measure, or how we are going to assess the tourism potential? There are a few points through which we can understand that whether a particular site is having a tourism destination potential or not. So in the name of tourism potential, we can see that what kind of natural attractions are there, whether it has some good anthropogenic characteristics or not, whether it has material resources or not, and what are the conditions we may need for destination management, what kind of stakeholders are required at a destination, or what kind of services we need to provide at a particular destination. So if we are able to find these things up to mark, then we can say that a place has particular tourism potential, such as what kind of supplies can be done, what kind of services can be offered, whether the site has a good potential or not, what is the condition of the tourism sector in particular state, country, or at international level, whether people are able to move or not. Suppose it's a some kind of a time which is, for example, if it is a pandemic time, then we can see that tourism sector is in very bad state. We cannot think of developing a tourism destination during that period. Or when there is a recession time for the entire country, we cannot think of developing a tourism sector. Then what is the demand for a particular type of tourism activity? We can go for the SWOT analysis, we can go for strength, weakness, opportunities, and threat analysis, through which we can understand what is the exact position of the destination. Then we can also look that in future, what will be the prospect of the destination? Because once we have destination planning, we are investing a lot of money, huge money, which is coming from private sector and public sector. And if it is not able to sustain for longer duration of time, there is no use of investing that much money. So we have to see that the tourism destination can survive for longer duration of time or not. Now we are going to discuss the second topic of today's class, which is called carrying capacity. Here we can understand that each and every destination has limited resources, either it is natural resources or man-made resources. It will be very limited, such as, for example, a particular physical space at a destination, it will be limited. So we have to see that how many tourists can visit in a particular day, or what kind of amenities are available at a destination to cater a particular number of tourists. We cannot allow more number of tourists, otherwise it will be burden on the resources which are available at a destination, and then any destination can fail. So the World Tourism Organization has defined the carrying capacity as the maximum number of people that may visit a tourism destination at a particular time or same time without causing any destruction of the physical, economic, socio-cultural environment and an unacceptable decrease in quality of visitor satisfaction. So in a simple way, we can say that the number of tourists which we can allow at a particular destination so that they can enjoy very well the facilities available at a destination without giving any harm to the physical, economic, socio-cultural environment of the destination. Then we can say that that particular number of tourists can be carrying capacity of a destination. So the tourism carrying capacity assessment can also be done while while developing a tourism destination planning, and it can be used to identify and implement limits to the number of visitors to a specific destination or attraction. That may be the reason many a place you will find that we need to book tickets in advance. For example, for trekking purposes, we need most of the places they will allow a limited number of tourists to go for trekking in a particular day. That is being done because of the carrying capacity. If more number of tourists are there, trekking may be difficult. There may be situation of crowd, and it may be difficult in some cases to handle those many tourists at a particular destination. That is the reason we can go for the carrying capacity assessment also. So this is it for today's class. In the next class, we are going to see the different types of carrying capacity. For example, it may be physical carrying capacity, or it may be the psychological carrying capacity. So these things we are going to take up in the next class. Thank you very much for attending the class.